October 5th, 2016, started as just another ordinary day in Edmond, Oklahoma, but it ended in unimaginable tragedy. A cheerful young woman, Jennifer Kylie Molloy, known to her loved ones as Smiley Girl, was found lifeless in her Duke apartment. This shocking discovery sent ripples of fear and sorrow through her close-knit community. Jennifer was adored by everyone who knew her, her bright smile lighting up every room she entered. But behind that smile lay a tale of unrequited love, betrayal, and an untimely end that no one saw coming. As the sun set that fateful day, the Edmond Police Department began unraveling a mystery that would take years to solve. What happened inside Jennifer's apartment? Who could commit such a heinous act against someone so beloved? And why did justice remain elusive for so long? Jennifer Kylie Molloy was born on November 30th, 1996. She grew up with her sister, Christina Stanfield. Jennifer had always been a bright and cheerful young girl. Her persistent smile earned her the nickname Smiley Girl from her father, John Molloy. In 2016, as an independent 19-year-old girl, she was enjoying the best years of her life. In Edmond, she resided alone in a Duke apartment close to the University of Central Oklahoma. Everyone who knew her, whether friends or family, admired her for her cheerful personality. Unfortunately, though, she had no idea of the terrible fate that was about to befall her. Joseph Tyler Beck was one of Jennifer's well-known friends, and the two got along well. They both had the same workplace and had even gone to the same school. Beck had feelings for her and wanted to date her. It wasn't clear if they were romantically involved or not, but clearly something was off between them. Therefore, Jennifer quit hanging out with Beck, but he still wanted to see her. On October 5th, 2016, he came by her Duke apartment complex, where she was living alone. Considering him as a childhood friend, she let him in. They chatted for a while before Beck started making moves on her. However, Jennifer resisted, saying she wasn't interested, and asked him to leave. Eventually, he made his way out of the apartment. Later, at approximately 1 p.m, an employee at the Duke Apartments found Jennifer's lifeless corpse and called the Edmond police. Following that, the Edmond police came at the scene to retrieve the body. As detectives collected the evidence, they taped off the vicinity with crime scene tape. Jennifer's family, especially her father, was horrified to hear the news. They were having difficulty accepting Jennifer's departure. After everything they'd been through, the family's only wish was to know who was responsible. The Edmond Police Department launched an investigation as soon as Jennifer Kylie Molloy's body was recovered. The EPD began looking into the occurrence as an unattended death, and following that, they observed questionable circumstances surrounding Jennifer's passing. Given the state of the dead body, the authorities were positive that she had been brutally attacked and killed. Their next course of action involved looking for any leads by going over all of the evidence that had been gathered from the crime scene. To find out if they had any suspicions about anyone in the case, authorities also interviewed Jennifer's friends and family. Conversely, Edmond police began interviewing tenants of the Duke apartment complex, where the body was discovered, in order to obtain information. By questioning her neighbors, the cops determined that Jennifer used to live alone in her apartment. "I'm really just in shock, especially since I have my kids, 3 daughters, a dad, and the fact that we were all at home and didn't hear anything," Jennifer's neighbor, Justine Locusts, remarked. The public was also provided with a phone number by the investigative authorities to contact in case they had any information regarding the case. Afterwards, the EPD reported that although they had received multiple leads over the years, no one had been arrested, and the case had been unsolved for years. In an attempt to track any developments in the investigation, Johnny Molloy, Jennifer's father, frequently requested updates from Edmond police over the years. As he persisted in his pursuit of justice, Johnny conveyed his feelings by saying, "I've been mad. I've been upset and depressed. And of course I miss my daughter, miss her. She was my smiley girl." Unfortunately, there were no recent developments in the case, and Jennifer's father was on the verge of giving up on ever receiving a resolution. However, a surprising turn of events unfolded after 8 hard years. The case ultimately saw a major breakthrough in May of 2024. While performing a regular welfare check on Scott Street on Thursday, May 2nd, Oklahoma Highway Trooper Matt Snyder and his team were met with an unexpected turn of events. Somebody walking by noticed a distressed young man sitting on the side of Interstate 40 close to the Reno-Scott Street exit during the check. Trooper Snyder arrived after receiving information to see how the man was doing. Surprisingly, the man at the side of the road was none other than Joseph Tyler Beck, who was now 28 years old. He gave off the impression of being seriously disturbed, and when Trooper Snyder got near him, he willingly began to confess about his involvement in an Edmond case from 2016. He told Trooper Snyder all about the crime and admitted to being guilty. Following the confession, Joseph Tyler Beck was taken into custody by the troopers from the side of the road. They brought him to EPD and notified the Edmond police. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol posted this shocking incident on their Facebook page on May 3, 2024. The post also contained a touching statement applauding the troopers' courage and commitment. This is yet another example of how a trooper never knows exactly what he or she will encounter on the side of the road. Good job by everyone, and we hope this ultimately ends in answers for an Oklahoma family. Following Joseph Tyler Beck's eventual arrest by the Edmond Police Department, he underwent an interrogation regarding the 2016 murder case. He then voluntarily confessed to have taken Jennifer's life on October 5, 2016. In an interview, Emily Ward, an EPD spokesman, addressed this. It was voluntary. He wasn't trying to hold anything back. It seemed that he wanted to get it all off of his chest. Based on the frightening details he provided, Edmond authorities felt convinced they had caught the right man. He and Jennifer were former co-workers, as Beck admitted to have known each other for years. In addition, he acknowledged that he had feelings for her, and he wanted a relationship. But because she didn't feel the same way as he did, Jennifer stopped seeing him, which upset Beck. He said, to his shame, that he thought she had wasted his time. Thus, on October 5, 2016, he went to her apartment with the motive of assaulting her. Unaware of his intentions, Jennifer allowed him inside and they conversed for some time. However, Jennifer resisted to Beck's approaches to make out and requested him to go. After she refused, Beck allegedly became forceful and began choking her till she passed away. Then he fled the scene, taking with him Jennifer's lifeless body. He did, however, validate a number of unsettling case specifics that remained out of the public domain. Remarkably, for years following the horrific deed, he stayed quiet and pretended to know nothing. He behaved like a kind well-wisher and developed strong bonds with Jennifer's family after her passing. Jennifer's family had also known Beck for years as a close friend of hers, so they warmly welcomed him into their family. Months after Jennifer's passing, according to claims made by Jennifer's father in a later interview, Beck even made an attempt to date Christina, Jennifer's sister. He was so frustrated by that, and he asked, "What kind of sick individual does that?" All of Beck's confessions, however, were documented by the EPD as compelling evidence, and with this supporting documentation, he was taken to court and convicted. Joseph Tyler Beck is currently incarcerated in the Oklahoma County Jail after being charged with first-degree murder. Jennifer's family felt relieved that justice had finally been served. According to Emily Ward, the authorities had not had any suspicions about him for such a long time. Jennifer's father was likewise skeptical of Beck's confession, describing him as a complete blindside. Since Beck was viewed by Jennifer's family as the loveliest person, and they never thought he could carry out such a horrible deed. But Johnny, Jennifer's dad, thought the Lord had intervened in strange ways, haunting him every day to confess his sins. "This man has taken so much from my family, and I'm glad he's in jail," Johnny bemoaned. "This madness took so much from my family. I'm glad he's in jail, and I want justice to be served." At the conclusion, Jennifer's family thanked everyone who had helped them and had been a part of the case since Jennifer passed away. After all, though, one question remains. If he hadn't willingly turned himself in, would Edmond police have ever found Jennifer's assailant? On a chilly October night in 2014, in the quiet suburbs of Lanel, Quebec, Jenique Dalcourt's life was violently and abruptly ended. At just 23 years old, Jenique, a vibrant and positive young woman, was attacked on a bike path while walking home from work. The brutal assault, involving an iron bar, left her with fatal injuries, and despite immediate police response, the case went cold, leaving her family and community in a state of grief and confusion. The crime scene was a chilling sight. A poorly lit bike path, which Jenique often used for her evening walks, became the stage for this horrific act. The area, typically serene and safe, was transformed into a tragic reminder of the violence that took Jenique's life. The police found her body after being alerted by a passerby. Jenique's mother, Jenique Dalcourt, turned her grief into a campaign for change. She highlighted the immense emotional and financial toll the crime had taken on her family. Monique's petition called for the government to recognize the parents of murdered children as victims themselves, deserving of comprehensive support. She argued that families affected by such tragedies should have access to free therapy and financial assistance, as the trauma often impairs their ability to work and function normally. Monique shared her struggles with sleeplessness, depression, and the inability to maintain employment, advocating for long-term psychological support funded by the government. The investigation into Jenique's murder was extensive and complicated. Initially, Macduff Jalbert, the man who reported finding Jenique, was arrested but released due to insufficient evidence. He remained a person of interest throughout the years. Advances in forensic science eventually provided the breakthrough needed. In 2019, genealogical DNA testing techniques began to play a crucial role, though the specifics of the new evidence were kept confidential to protect the judicial process. In May 2024, nearly a decade after the murder, Macduff Jalbert was rearrested and charged with first-degree murder. Chief Inspector Pierre Duet of the Longueuil Agglomeration Police Service described the investigation as one of the most complex in their history. He credited the advancements in forensic science for the new evidence that led to Macduff Jalbert's arrest. Though specific details of the breakthrough were withheld, Duet emphasized the unwavering determination to seek the truth and provide closure for Jenique's family. He praised the resilience and patience of her parents, Monique and John Dalcourt, throughout the prolonged investigation. Jenique's father, John Dalcourt, spoke to the media following the arrest, expressing a mix of relief and sorrow. "Nothing can bring our daughter back, but we hope this arrest brings us some measure of peace," he said. He praised the police for their perseverance and thanked the community for their unwavering support over the years. Nick Dalcourt, Jenique's brother, shared his memories of her as a beacon of positivity. Jenique had this incredible ability to lift anyone's spirits. She was always there with a smile and a kind word, he recalled. "Knowing her killer is finally facing justice brings us some comfort. but we will always miss her. The arrest brought a mix of relief and reflection to the community, which had been deeply affected by Jenique's tragic death and the long quest for justice. Vigils and tributes were renewed, honoring her memory and recognizing the tireless efforts of law enforcement. As Macduff Jalber awaited his trial, the community and Jenique's family held on to the hope that justice would finally be served, bringing closure to a case that had lingered painfully in their hearts for nearly 10 years. Through the persistence of law enforcement, the advances in forensic technology, and the unwavering strength of Jenique's family, the path to justice, though long and arduous, seemed within reach. This case remains a poignant reminder of the impact of violent crime and the importance of ongoing support for the families left in its wake. If you find this video compelling, show your support by giving it a thumbs up, subscribing to our channel, and ringing that notification bell. By doing so, you'll stay updated about the latest investigations and mysteries. Your support means the world to us as we continue to pursue the truth in the world of cold cases.